Welcome to my workshop. My name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video we're going to be checking out this Pro Pocket Hole Jig from Trend. So all the questions you may have hopefully will be answered in this video. So I had this jig for a few weeks now, and as you can see I've actually made a workstation for it. I've done a video on it, so if you're interested I'm going to drop a link down below so you can have a look yourself. Now the jig itself, it's made very well, so it's definitely a lot sturdier than the cheaper versions. It does have scales both in metric and imperial, so depending on what you use you're covered in both ways. Most important feature for me, it's actually the dust extraction, and it works fantastically. I'll show you that a bit later on. Now on the top here you've got the column where you put your drill bit through here. It will adjust depending to what material you're using, but actually it does come with a hidden feature which I'm going to show you a little bit later on. One more really cool thing about this jig is that underneath it houses a T-track, okay? So you can use a clamp to actually clamp this jig down to your workbench. So you don't really need to fasten the jig with screws or bolt it or anything like that. You can actually use the T-track and a clamp to clamp it down. Really nice and cool feature there. On the column here obviously you do have the scales, again imperial and metric, so you can set it up correctly to the thickness of material you're going to be drilling through. On top of the jig you actually do get this really nice carrying bag, it's a nice touch to have, to be fair. I do acknowledge that. Inside you've got manual. You actually do get quite a few screws to get you started on your projects, and there's a couple of things I will show you a little bit later on. So you got those metal parts here, which I'm going to show you in just a second how they work and why they are here. Okay, now on top of these bits you do actually get also a clamp, very handy. This plastic indicator that attaches to the jig, and it allows you to set your drill bit to the correct height, the collar, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. The drill bit itself with the collar, key, and a special bit to drive in the screws. So as you can see, it's a fairly comprehensive package here, guys. Now let me show you very quickly how to set up this jig for your particular piece of timber or a sheet material, anything you've got for a project, okay? So first of all, first thing you need to know is how thick your material is. Now obviously you can measure it, however, as I showed you at the front over here, you already got the scales here. So you can put your piece of timber against the block over here, and that will tell you how thick the material is, and in my case it's 19 millimeters. Okay, so straight away we know the thickness of our material. Therefore we can set up the column here to 19 millimeters. Just like so. Okay, and that's now set up. Next, let's see if the clamp distance is correct so it will hold the material. Perfect. If it's not clamping correctly, you can undo that bolt here and adjust the length of the clamp itself. Okay, easily done. Next thing what you want to do is to set up your drill bit and the collar, and for that you do have this plastic indicator that comes in the set, and there's a special hole located just over here, so you can place that there. And on top of that plastic wheel you've got indicators of the thickness of your material. For me 19 millimeters is just over here, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to drop the drill bit like so and put the collar on, and with a key lock it in place. And that's job done. So as you can see, setting up this jig is super simple. However, now let's talk about the additional features this jig comes in with. Okay, so you've got this L-shaped metal plates like these ones and two rods. It basically will allow you to create additional support if you've got a wider board. Let me show you that now. On each side of the jig you've got holes, okay, through which these metal rods will go. First of all, we need to unlock them. You got some bolts at the back of the machine here. So we need to undo them a little bit. Okay. Now the metal rods will slide in, no problems at all, and you can lock it with that bolt again in place. Okay, so nice and stable, they're not moving anymore. And now with these metal L-shaped brackets, you actually do get few options. Now these will act as support for your material, but also as a stop gauge. Okay, so if you want to do some repetitive cuts, you set it up to the distance you want, lock it in place just like so, and Bob's your uncle. So let me just demonstrate how useful this may be. So for example, in this piece I want two holes more or less next to each other. So first of all, I'm butting the piece against this stop block, drilling my hole, moving it to the other stop block and drilling my other hole. Okay, so very cool feature there. Obviously you don't have to use one. Okay, you can take it out and you can use only one stop block. Up to you how you're going to use that, but it's a very handy feature, I have to say. But these stops also come with additional holes in them, so you can put them just like that. And in this scenario they will only act as support for your workpiece. Okay, so instead of being the workpiece like that, you can just slide them underneath. Okay, and they will make sure your work is nice and level and you've got a full support from the bottom, and you can just clamp your workpiece. Very neat feature there. However, this jig has got another option that you can use. Okay, so it comes with this metal plate and I'm going to show you what you can use that for. Although it will require a little bit of disassembly. Okay, first of all we need to take off the dust port. Just like so. Next, from underneath we've got 4 bolts that we need to loosen up and take out. And now we're able to take the whole block off. Okay, so we've got the block itself. Now we need to attach the metal plate just like so. We created a portable small jig just like this. Thanks to that ledge it will butt against your workpiece. Let me just show you that quickly. Just like that, nice and firm against the workpiece. And now you can clamp it with the clamp that's already included in the set, just like that, and you've got a fantastic way to drill your holes for your pocket hole joinery. Now that will help you in many scenarios that you're not able to actually use the hole jig itself. So let's drill a couple of holes. It's a fantastic addition to the hole jig itself. Okay, remember the T-track I've mentioned at the beginning of the video? Well, check this out. I've got a clamp just like that. It fits there perfectly. Can attach it to my workbench. No issues at all. It's nice and stable. That's not going to go anywhere. Very cool feature that I really do like that. If you're not planning to make a whole workstation like I did, absolutely perfect solution. Especially if you're on the go, for example, on a job site, anything like that, really good feature there. However, the best feature of them all is this little bit here. The dust extraction on this is absolutely fantastic. Let me show you that now. Let's drill a few holes and you'll see there's no dust coming out of this jig at all. Look at that, guys. There is not a pinch of dust that came out of from this jig whilst drilling. Okay, the dust extraction on this works absolutely fantastic, and for me personally, that's the main selling point of this jig. It's superb. Look at all those holes. Really nice, no problems at all, super quick, really cool feature there. And there you go, guys. The jig is packed with some really cool features as you've seen, but for me personally, as I mentioned, the dust extraction is the key and it works brilliantly, which I really enjoy. And on top of it, you actually do get the clamp, and sometimes the clamp itself could be about $25–30, you know. So that's a cool addition there. Plus the ability to create your own support for wider boards as well, stop blocks. Really cool. And on top of it, you can take out the block itself and have a small portable jig as well. Tell you what, plus the carrying case, it makes it a really compelling solution here, guys. Now, I'm not here to sell you this. I'm not getting paid for making this video at all. I just honestly think it's a very solid tool here, guys, that you can use in your workshops, and it's reasonably priced. If you are interested in this, I will leave some links down below in the description of this video so you can go and have a look yourself. Now, there's also a cheaper version of this where I don't think you actually do get the dust port. Now, for me personally, as I mentioned already, the biggest selling point is the dust extraction. So in my eyes, it's actually worth to spend that little bit more money and get the version with the dust extraction. But hey, I'll leave it with you guys. The machine itself is really well made. I've got, to be fair, so far I have not found any bad sides to it, and I can't complain about anything, which is a bit unusual, to be fair. For me, I always find something, but yeah, it's just a really well made jig. Fully recommend it. Now, on my channel, you can also find different reviews for different tools I've got in my workshop. If you're interested in that, I'm going to leave some playlists just over here for you to check out. Really worth watching if you are kitting out your workshop. Now, I'll see you on those videos there. Take care.